Continue Seduce me, Otome. Oh, Seduce me. So, obviously, she's returned, so let's carry on. At last, we saw Diana by the entrance of the kitchen, juggling a single red apple in her hand. As she leans against the archway, the boys quickly surrounding me, glaring at the intruder.
So, you took up a human name as well.
She sure did.
Beautiful name, isn't it? Well, for a human name, anyway.
What the hell do you want?
To bring you back, of course. However, you weren't supposed to know that I was coming. I completely forgot about that little mind-reading ability. My mistake.
Diana pushed it off from the archway and walked towards us, making the boys step closer to me in a protective circle. Diana laughed.
My. What has the world come to? A group of demons protecting a human girl? I'll tell you right now, she's not that pretty. And from what I can tell, she's still a virgin.
Oh, jeez, Louise. My face grew red in complete anger and embarrassment. How dare she? Diana chuckled and smirked at me, knowing that I wanted to hit her, but had control of myself.
Such control you have, human. You know your place very well.
I didn't control the growl that escaped my throat, however.
Well, will you all change your minds? I assure you, it's for the greater good.
I expected the boys to say no. What I heard was complete silence. None of the boys replied to Diana, which made me both nervous and fearful as to why Diana leaned her head back a bit, surprised for a different reason.
No. Well, I see.
Was silence truly them saying no to her? I looked around at the boys and saw the disobedience in their eyes, giving me my answer. I felt my heart flutter, especially when my eyes landed on Damien. He kept close to me, glaring daggers into Diana. I could feel that he was completely adamant in his choice to stay. I don't know what, but I was incredibly happy to know he wanted to stay. Diana sighed and pressed a finger into her temple, rubbing it gently.
Either all of you are playing a very convincing hard-to-get game, or you all must be out of your minds.
Diana then looked to me, locking her gaze with mine as if to read me. I could tell she wanted to do something, but the boys would stop her, so the stare was her only available action. After a small moment of silence, Diana licked her lips before breaking the gaze balance, smiling to the boys around me.
Very well. I guess I'll take my leave now.
What? Her leave? Was she serious? Was she just gonna leave? It's never that simple, dear. The boys around me straightened up and grew confused looks on their faces. Diana stepped back and away from us with a small bow, flaunting her cleavage. Without another word, a deep purple pentagram appeared under her feet, and Diana's body slowly sank into the floor. As her head vanished into the floor, the pentagram vanished. At once, the boys relaxed and slowly began to return to their spots at the table, each in deep thought.
She'll be back, but she won't kill us. She needs us alive.
Whatever. We'll just keep saying no. She can't force us to come back.
She can't do anything but annoy us. Eventually, she'll give up.
Good.
That's the hope, anyway.
Hopefully? Damien walked over to me and stood before me, looking at me with concern.
We'll protect you. Don't worry.
Aww. I nodded, feeling that he was telling the truth, or at least a hopeful and comforting thought. Damien gently took my hand in his and brought it to kiss my knuckles. However, making me blush and forgetting what I was thinking about. The sound of collective chuckles and playful smirks whispered through the air, making me blush even more, but as Damien sighed and cleared his throat, the laughter stopped. I looked up to see he was glaring at his brothers with his lips on my hand. He and I pulled away from each other just as the sound of Naomi's car appeared. I quickly got my food, waved to the boys and left, confident that nothing was going to happen. How wrong was I? Never, ever say that nothing will happen before the day is over. I've already told him about the ride back home yesterday, saying that the ride was a one-time thing. I'll be riding with you guys from now on, to and from school. The girls seemed very happy. We entered the school, quickly gathered our things from our lockers and headed to class. There was no events, to our surprise. History wasn't exactly fun, but our teacher was great. At least he would have been great if he was in class that day. Naomi and Suzu took their seats around me, Suzu in front of me and Naomi behind me, before the class bell rang and the class was greeted by the dean.
Students, you'll be having a substitute for class today. Everyone meet
Miss Diana.
Oh, here we go again, guys. My heart stopped at the door once again. Alongside the dean was Diana, looking over the students and smirking like she always goddamn does. As her eyes landed on me, she strutted to the teacher's desk, ignoring or welcoming the whispers from the other students before sitting on the wood and crossing her legs.
Thank you, Dean. You can go now.
With a wave of Diana's hand, the dean left the classroom. The door closed and left the area. Diana just kept smirking, making my stomach turn. What was she gonna do?
History. History.
Oh, God.
Such a silly thing, isn't it? I mean, what do we care about the past? We're in the present.
The rest of the class, including Naomi, Stu, and Suzu, hesitantly nodded in agreement. I, on the other hand, was thinking something completely different, like why the hell was she in the
present is
class?
so full of wonderful things. While the labors of the past are the reason we have many things, it is our chance and privilege to utilize what has been given to us.
What's hers? Her looks? I pressed my lips together as I listened further. I had no choice. Never trust succubus.
What's even funnier about human beings is that some of the bits of history we hear as either made up or completely biased to one side. It's like a story you read as a child. You hear of the princess and the prince, and they live happily ever after. But what about the family she left behind? What of her friends?
I wonder if she was targeting this at me. Probably.
The original story of The Little Mermaid, a perfect example of biased opinion. Here we have a girl who thinks she can be with this prince, but this prince has to marry a princess. What would happen if the mermaid had her way? What makes the mermaid so important that the princess has to suffer the consequences?
I kept my mouth shut. There was no way I was going to let her get to me. Despite her being the teacher, I was going to ignore her. There was no telling what she could do if I told back. Diana looked at me, expecting me to speak, but I merely stared at her. A smirk graced her face, a glare graced mine. I didn't need to fight to win.
It's still something to think about, however, as we think of this story. It's so easy to believe that the mermaid was the heroine. But what of the poor princess? Why should the princess suffer the antics of a mermaid? The princess didn't do anything wrong to her.
Did the princess actually love the prince? I don't think we ever got to see that side of the story. More nonsense. I knew this was all a subliminal message to me, to make me pity her. My anger didn't allow any leeway to feel pity for her. How long was she planning to drag this out? She wasn't a real teacher, not to mention she barged into my room in the middle of the night. And as I said before, the devils had more manners. They at least waited till the party was over. She could have at least waited till I woke up in the morning. But no. Diana continued to rave about the injustice the princess had suffered while the mermaid was in the prince's sights. To Diana, it was injustice. To me, it was a fairy tale. The boys chose me. He chose me. She wasn't going to convince them otherwise, and I wasn't going to let her convince me either. Diana stretched her arms out, making an obvious sexual noise that made some of the boys in the class shift in their seats. I rolled my eyes.
Well, that's enough about fairy tales. After all, the Little Mermaid was fated to lose her prince in the original story anyway. It was for the better, though. The kingdoms, I'm sure, flourished, and the prince and princess lived happily ever after.
Is she done yet? Oh, can you be so sure? I felt ballsy enough anyway to challenge her. The other students in the class, including Suzu and Naomi, turned to look at me, both in shock and confusion. Then I looked over and smiled kindly.
Because I have a hunch.
I don't care. Your hunches can be very wrong, Diana. What if the prince was ultimately unhappy? Could the princess live with herself knowing that the man she married was unhappy?
In that case, the prince and princess's senses of duty would overrule emotion. Their kingdoms would flourish nevertheless, making their people love them and live happy lives.
Okay, but how about this situation? What if the prince and princess actually totally hated each other's guts? Literally. If they just totally hated each other and couldn't stand to be in a room together, and then they're forced to marry each other, they'd be at each other's throats daily, and the kingdom would be like, oh great, there goes Prince and Princess again, fighting as usual, not doing anything they're supposed to be doing, like taking care of the kingdom. But whatever. Another excuse. She wasn't answering my question. Not surprised. So the prince is supposed to suffer a marriage he doesn't want for the sake of his kingdom.
It happens all the time in reality. Arranged marriages happen to bring families together and bring wealth out of poverty.
Sometimes it also brings murder. But let's not tell her that. That still doesn't make it right, and you know it, Diana. Oh, the other students applaud me, knowing what I was saying was right. Diana pressed her lips into a thin line of irritation, signaling my victory. And I will be happy with that victory. I beat Diana in this one. Oh, Diana, I always like putting you in place. I don't know why. You just rubbed me the wrong way, woman.